everybody. So today I wanted to do a special video and talk a little bit about the recent Christian movies and why I feel like it has been difficult for many of them to get good reviews from critics, and why I think they're still successful, for the most part, they're still successful even with those poor reviews. And recently I just saw the movie Do You Believe? And it is kind of a Christian version of Crash, and it stars a whole bunch of different actors: Mira Sorvino, Brian Bosworth, Sean Astin, Lee Majors, Sybil Shepherd, and they all have different stories of faith all combining together, and they all are sort of connected. And I really was moved by it. I thought it was good. Is it perfect? No. But is it really? Right now I think it's at 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. And the thing that I think that you have a problem with Christian films is that it's kind of like the same problem that romance films have, where romantic films can come off as really cliched because there's just something inherently kind of corny about romance when it's not happening to you. And if you hear someone describe their romance, you think, oh, unless you love them, if you know them, then you're like, oh, that's so great, it's so exciting. But if you don't know them and you just hear them talking about it, you're like, oh, that is so corny. And I think it's kind of the same way with conversion and talking about religious experiences, because if you haven't experienced conversion and you aren't a Christian or you aren't a strong member of another faith, I think it's really hard for that kind of experience not come off as cloying and corny, and there's just something about the experience that those who have had that conversion experience, when they see it, it's really rings true and really feels authentic, and those that haven't experienced it, it comes off really corny and false and even preachy. And I think if I were to share my conversion story, I bet I would have a similar kind of response. I think a lot of people that have had a similar conversion experience to a faith would be really moved by it, and then there would be a section of people that would think I was being really preachy and that it was really cheesy and that wouldn't like it. And so I think that that's kind of where the disconnect lies. And that's not saying that all critics aren't converted to Christianity, but I would say that a lot of them probably, I don't know, this is just a guess, but a lot of them are probably not hardcore Christians, because if you are, then you probably aren't going to see some of these movies that the critics have to see. And I think there certainly are movies that appeal to a wider range, and I think that last year's Noah tried to do that, and I think that unfortunately it pushed too far on the appealing to the non-believers, and a lot of the believers really hated it. In fact, most that I know really didn't like it, and because it was too creative, it was too different, it was too and so they didn't like it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool and creative, but it's really hard to find that balance between telling an authentic Christian conversion story or an authentic Bible story and also appeal to non-believers and people of not strong faith. But no, it's not impossible. There are those exceptions, but for the most part it's really, really hard. And so I guess my argument would be about these religious films is I would say if you don't like it, it's probably not made for you. I think there's certain movies that are made for kindergartners, there's certain movies that are made for little girls, there's certain movies that are made for little boys, whatever it might be. And yes, sometimes those do transcend the demographic that they're made, but I don't think every movie should have to do that. I think it's okay to have a movie that says, this is my audience and I'm making this movie for this audience. And, this is a movie for Mormons, this is a movie for Christians, this is a movie for atheists, this is a movie for gay people, whatever it might be. That they don't have to worry about pleasing everyone, and that they're just going to make a story for this particular audience. And I think that is okay. And I guess I think that should sort of be considered a little bit. But in the end, I think that you have to say, okay, this isn't getting very good reviews, because the critic can't say, I imagine what a Christian will think about this review, and then they just have to say what they think about it. And so that's natural. But when you see a movie and you look at it and you say, is this something that, yes, maybe not appeal to this critic or a majority of critics, but is it made for my audience? Is it made for me? And maybe I'll enjoy it. And you can also tell, I think, when you, like, if you look for the Do You Believe reviews, the ones that are actually done by actual Christians, and there are some, I'll put some links down to some good YouTubers that do movie reviews and are of faith, that I think if you look at those, then you can usually see if it's a good movie for that audience or not. And then you can know. So I wouldn't worry so much about the Rotten Tomatoes scores on these really audience-specific films. I would just look at the other people that you know and the other people out there that are part of that audience, and is it one that they liked, and maybe you'll like it as well. And you take some risk going to a movie, and every once in a while you're not gonna go to a good movie. That's okay. Last year we had some good Christian films. We had some weak Christian films. I never saw The Identical, but I heard it was really bad. I heard Left Behind was really bad. I haven't seen the new Exodus movie, which I definitely want to see. I heard that was okay, not great. I liked Noah. So it was an interesting year. I actually thought Mom's Night Out was really funny. So, and it got really, really bad reviews. So I would just say, like I said, the look is an audience-specific picture. Are you part of that audience? And then give it a shot, and maybe you'll like it. So that's why I think the disconnect comes and why they get such bad reviews. It's just so hard to translate that kind of conversion experience to somebody who hasn't had that kind of experience. It's very, very difficult. So let me know what you think. I'm curious. Have you liked any of these Christian films? Do you think... why do you think that they get such bad reviews? I would love to hear it. So thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later.